Welcome to the Land House YouTube channel. I'm Seth. Atezr just sent over the 35 watt laser engraver machine and also the enclosure for this to go into. Let's take a tour around this laser real quick and then we will get it up and running and cut and engrave something. The very first thing that I noticed about this laser engraver is that it is very stylish. It's got a very rich purple color to it. It's got lots of designs, and I feel like the cable placement is very ideal and should not be causing any issues with catching or pulling on that. You can see the Atezr logo right there. Now this is the 35 watt machine, and so it should be able to cut and engrave very quickly and precisely. So I did get this assembled, and I'll have a video on that at a later time. All right, let's do an overview here real quick. So the X and Y axis, as you can see right here, work very well. And they are belt driven. So we will get to see that in action here in a moment whenever I get this into the enclosure and turn it on. Now the laser head itself can be adjusted. There is a knob up here on the top. Whenever you spin that, it will either lower or raise that. There is a measurement over here so you know where you're at. And if you need to make a big adjustment, there are thumb screws here that will allow this laser to go up and down. This unit comes with air assist already built into it, and that does come shipped with the machine, so very handy. The tube goes up and goes into the enclosure here, comes out the side, and that cord is plenty long enough for you to get that away from your machine here if you need to. So as far as the air assist goes, the air is coming out right there. There's a power cord. You've got an off and an adjustment right there, so you can turn to see how much air you actually need. And that plugs up right into the side of the machine and is powered by the machine. Speaking of all these controls here, this unit can be locked. So if you don't want somebody to access this machine, then you can simply turn that key and people will not be able to get in there and work on it. So very good to have. On-off button right here. There's an alarm LED indicator. This is the USB. It's got a reset button down in there. And something that's very neat, it's got a little remote here with an HDMI cable, and that is detachable, so you don't have to bend down to see the screen right there. So power just comes in right here, and that is pretty much all of that. Now this unit does have limit switches. There's one right in here that will prevent this from going too far forward. It does have rubberized legs on each side so it will not be scooting around on your work table. It has an AC power brick which just plugs up with your typical 3-prong plug right there. Now this laser does have the option to purchase the enclosure, and if you've ever used one of these laser engravers, you know the amount of smoke that these put off, so I highly recommend an enclosure. It has a fan on the side which will draw out the air and send that out the tube. You can put that through the wall or through a window. I also have the Atezr honeycomb cutting bed, which is very ideal if you're going to be doing any kind of cutting through this material. Now the enclosure does not have a base to it, but the sides are coated in a rubber, which will prevent that smell from getting out. And in order to close this, you just put the flaps over to the side on both sides here. Yeah. And the front has magnetic snaps to keep that in place. Now you can look through both the top here or the side. Now I had a little trouble getting that film off of there, so I'll have to work on cutting that out a little bit later. There's also options for storing some of your tools in here if you've got like this extra Allen wrench that I've got in there, or a screwdriver up there if you need to. All right, that's the enclosure. It also has places where you can put your power cords or air assist tube. To use this laser engraver, it comes with a USB Type-C which will plug into the laser. The other end can either be plugged into a mobile device or your PC. So that is very nice to have if you want to use either of those. It also came with a pair of safety goggles, the green ones, so the laser won't be affecting your eyes. Has a cleaning cloth and also a USB stick to install software. And right here you've got this fixed focus block, and also there's some information on getting your air assist to work with light burn. Let's get the Atezr 35 watt laser into the enclosure on top of the cutting bed there. Now this thing does weigh a pretty good bit, so be careful as you're moving it around. See how well this is gonna fit down in here. It's a pretty tight fit, but it's gonna work. I now have the Atezr 35 watt laser installed into the enclosure. I'm gonna go ahead and take the USB right here and plug this up to my computer. Here we go. I had to turn the key in order for this to turn on, which is exactly what you would expect. I also see a crosshair over here, so that is working. This machine did come with a USB drive. Let's plug that up and see what's on here. Here's a software and user manual. Very cool. Let's see if Lightburn will pick this up. All right, let me launch Lightburn real quick and see if the Atezr 35 watt laser will automatically be detected here. It took me a moment to get the Atezr laser into Lightburn. I had to restart my computer and then select COM number 7 down here, and it seems to be working just fine. I can press a button and move the laser, and it seems to be working well. All right, let's go ahead over to the console and right-click macro 0, and let's do an autofocus. And down here in the macro command, I'm going to do, let's see here, using my manual, ESP 500 is what we've got here. Very cool. All right, the laser now is moving up and down, hopefully you can see that, to find the autofocus position. Now I also went up here to the tools and checked over here. It's got the M8 for the air assist. So that should be what we need. And so now if we draw something and we go into here and we can go, let's see, cut layers, air assist is on over here as you can see. So let's go ahead and let me frame this. All right, that should be within range. So let's go ahead and do our test. Now before I push go on this, I want to turn on my exhaust fan by just plugging it up. Alright, that's pulling air out of this box. I've got my safety goggles on. Let me press the go button real quick and see what we get. Let me move this over some. Okay, I have to say that is very quick. Let's see how that cut was, or that engraving. All right, there we go. So definitely not very impressive. Let's do something else here that's a bit more impressive. I put the lid on the enclosure down to let those fumes out. Let's go ahead and start this job and see if we hear the air assist turn on and see how well this text engraving goes. So let me go ahead and push start here. Air assist is working. I can turn this up so you can hear it. That job is just completed. Let's take a look at it here. There we go. Very nice. It's clean, it's clear, it's crisp. I like that a lot. I just designed a file that has 5 blocks, and I have set all of those blocks to a power of 70 and a speed from 20 down to 3, and we'll see how well this does to cut through. That was quite quick. All of those were cut out within about 1.5 minutes. And we are almost through on the back side of the 3 and 5. I'm going to run one more test here with the speeds of 3, 5, and 10, power of 70, but double pass. Well, through some kind of error, I had my display here and it kind of got in the way of hitting those limit switches, so definitely have to work through something here, but I've turned the machine off for now. I'm also noticing there's a bit of an alignment issue that I'll have to work out as well. It's kind of cocked off to the side, so let's see what it got here. Yeah, almost came through on that one. This is a very brief overview of the Atezr 35-watt laser. So far, the assembly of this machine was pretty straightforward. Building the enclosure was also very straightforward. The trouble I had getting it into Lightburn, I think, was just an issue of restarting the computer, and everything seemed to work fine after that. You do have to have the USB drive plugged up into the machine before it will work. I found that out as well. Now there is some kind of an alignment issue that I'm seeing with the guide laser, and so I'll have to work with that and see if I can't get it straight. As far as the engraving test, I think that looks really good. It was very crisp and clean lines there on the land to house. I'll have to find the settings I need to be able to cut through all the way, and I think that my second pass there was almost through on that one. So as far as functionality goes, I think it's going to do quite well after I work out the learning curve bugs on this machine. Now in the future, I'm going to be setting up this to do a lot more testing in my future studio space that I'm currently building, so make sure you stay tuned for that video. I'm Seth Johnson with Land to House. Thanks for watching. If you want to check out more information on this machine, I will have a link in the description down below. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.